Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Ghost trick-or-treater. I think he's super adorable. Comes with a little pumpkin basket to carry all his goodies with, and then still the same happy face, and then his little legs underneath his costume. So adorable. I love it. So we'll get started. Band-wise, this one uses 302 white. There are 86 black bands in the feet, but you can change the colors of that, or you can change the color of the white too. And then the pumpkin basket is 98 orange, and then you'll need the bands for the face. So I'm using 9mm pony beads for the eyes on the ghost. So if you don't have those beads, then you can use 2 bands for each eye. Then your cheeks and your mouth. And then for the basket, I'm using a 7mm pony bead. And if you don't have the beads for those, you can use 1 band for each eye, and then your cheeks and your mouth on the basket. So, and because the basket's here, it helps that he'll stand up when you put him down. So adorable. Plus there's 2 bands that attach the basket to the hands, so that you can have it removed if you want to. But we'll get started. It's probably going to be a longer tutorial because it's kind of like 2 separate little things to make. We'll start with the pumpkin basket because that's quicker, and then we'll go do the ghost. So put him here. So for the pumpkin, you're going to want the eyes and the cheeks. So like I said, I'm using 7mm pony beads for these. If you don't have those, you can use a wrapped band, which is just 1 band, whatever color you want the eye to be. You put it on your hook, wrap it around once into a figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your pumpkin basket. Like that. So you have 2 eyes either this way or with the beads. If you use the smaller beads, you're going to need to use something that you can fold into a V shape. This is just craft wire, but you can use like string, thread, or floss, anything like that. Fold it into a V shape and then put 2 bands into the center, close it up, and thread it through the center of your bead. Pull your bead down onto your bands, and then take out your little tool. So you have them this way too. These beads are at Michael's, just like the 9mm ones are as well. So eyes, however you want to do those. The cheeks are made the same way as the eyes. It's just whatever color you want the cheek to be on the hook, wrapped into the figure 8. You'll grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your pumpkin. So like that, you want these ready to go. And then we're going to start by making the handle first. So that's 1 band on your hook, wrapped around into the figure 8. Grab both bands, pull it around again. So that's doubled. And then we're going to pull through 11 more doubled bands. So it's 1 band, double it on the end of the hook, hang on to that, and then pull it through what's on, and then put the other end back on. So that's 1. And we'll do that again. Double it, pull it through. That's 2. So all the way till we have 11 more. Alright, 11. So it looks like this now. So then you want to take 2 bands and just pull them straight through what's on your hook. And you can take it out like this. And then come down to the end that we started from, where we have that doubled band, and put your hook through those 4 bands there. And then pull through 2 bands on this end as well. So like this. Then we'll take our loom, wrong end towards us, and we're going to just be working on 6 pins. So I'll work up here. But 6 pins, and we're going to start by making a crossed row all the way around our 6 pins. So it's 2 bands on and then cross. This next spot is going to get one side of our handle. So I'm just going to grab the 2 bands that I pulled through, put it on like that. And then the next 2 spots will get the crossed bands. Just put it on, give it a little twist. Then this one over here, we're going to pull the handle over. You want to make sure that it's straight. Pull it over and put the other side on. Like that. And then the last one will be a cross band. So you want to push all those down. And then we're going to do a row all the way around. 2 bands. Like that. Then you'll flip the bottom 4 bands on all 6 pins. Push down. Then we'll do another row all the way around. 2 bands again. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Push down. Next is our eye row, and our eyes are going to go in the front here. So grab an eye band, and put it right here. And your other eye band, and then 2 bands around the rest. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. And if you want, you can grab your handle wherever I hit it. It is. Just got to pull it up. Push everything down. And now what we're going to do is put our mouth band on. So on this pin right here, in between the eyes, you're going to take your mouth band, whatever color you want that to be, put it on the pin, wrap it around 1 time. Like that. And then we're going to do a cheek row around this time. So you want your cheeks. We'll put those right where we put the eyes. So 1 right there, and 1 here. And then it's 2 bands around the rest. Like that. So now we're going to flip the bottom 4 all the way around. And when you get to the front middle here where we have the mouth band, I always flip the bottom 4 first over the top, and then I'll grab the mouth band and flip that over as well, like that. And the bottom 4 on the rest. Push that down. Now we're going to do 2 rows all the way around. So this will be our first row. Still 2 bands. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I don't know how much talking I'm going to do during this tutorial. I've been wicked sick all week long, and the more I talk, the more I want to cough. Like that's our first row. And we'll flip the bottom 4. It has been no fun. I almost didn't have anything to post because I just hadn't felt good, but pull it together and I'll have something for you guys. But so now do a second row all the way around. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. And then you want to make sure that your center is pulled up. So you want to grab that handle, make sure it's pulled up. Because we're going to go around on each pin now and put it on our hook, and then we'll close this off. So I'm just going to take my hook, go in through the bands, grab them, and just go around each of the 6 pins. I'll take that. And I'll pull through 2 bands through everything. Put both ends back on. Close it up tight. Pull my bands through to the inside. Then what you want to do is take your basket, kind of stretch it way out. And then you just kind of squish it so it's rounder like a pumpkin. Like that. You can turn it inside out and it does kind of keep a more out shape in the center, but I'm not real fond of like the braided look on my stuff, obviously, so I like the other side better. That is up to you. So I have a little pumpkin basket, and don't worry about the handle. When we attach it to the hands, it pulls that apart too. So cute little pumpkin basket, awesome. So we'll put that aside for now. And now on to the ghost. So for the ghost, I already said that I'm going to use 9mm pony beads. If you don't have these size of beads, you can use 2 bands that are the color of the eye that you want. You'll put them on the hook, wrap them around into the figure 8, then grab both bands, or all 4 bands, and then wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your sheet, or the ghost sheet, I guess. Like that. So you want to make 2 of those that way. For the 9mm pony beads, I can stick the bands through when I get to that part in the tutorial, so that's what I'll do. So you want to have 2 eyes, and then you'll also want 2 cheeks, pull through the white bands. So it's the same thing, whatever color you want the cheek, on the hook, into the figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your sheet. So 2 cheeks, and then we need to make little parts for the feet, which are just 2 wrapped bands with 2 bands pulled through, and that is 1 band on the hook, whatever color you want the feet or the legs to be. So on the hook, wrap it around. I don't like that band. Wrap it around, grab both, wrap it around again, do the same thing. So I have 2 of them, and then I'll just pull through 2 bands through both of the wrap bands, like that. And you want 2 like this, so there's 1 for each foot. So those. We need to make you need to make 2 arms. I need to make 1 more of them, so I'll show you how to make 1, and then you'll have to pause or rewind it to make the other one. So the arms, they have a little hand with 4 fingers on them. So we make those first. It's 1 band on the hook, wrapped around, grab both, double it, and then you'll take another band, double it, pull it through what's on your hook, bring the other end up, and make sure to kind of center it. So that's one finger, and we need to do that 3 more times. So just kind of push these up out of the way as you need to. So double another one, then pull through another doubled band. And then again. And one more time for 4 fingers. Like that. 4 fingers. And now we need to pull through 2 bands that are doubled, so we have pull through 7 of them. So I'm going to take 2 bands, double them on the end, pull them through all my fingers, it's a little tough but not too bad, and put the other end back on our hook, just like this. We have our little fingers, and now we want to pull through 6 more sets of bands. So it's 2 bands doubled, pulled through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, for a total of 7. The one we pull through the hand, and then 6 more. And then you want to take 2 bands and pull them straight through the end, like that. So you'll need to make 2 hands. And then once you've done that, come back, and we'll start on the body. Okay, so it's actually kind of weird how we do the ghost part, because I wanted it to be more realistic with the sheet on him. So this part is kind of loose and floppy, and we actually make this part first, and it stays on the loom. Then we loom the top part of the ghost, and then flip over the bottom part of the sheet, and then we'll do the legs after that. So for the little kind of bottom of the sheet, this part is single banded, so 1 band, and you're going to be working on 6 pins on each side. So just kind of figure that out on your loom here so you have enough room. But it's 1 band across, then you go up 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that, and then you go across and then come back down. Like that, so you have the X row around. Then we're going to go right on top of that and do another row, still single banded, and this one just goes on normally. Like this, but now when we flip, we need to do it a different way than we normally do. And we need to flip from the inside out. So the corners, you're going to go in from the inside, grab those bottom 2 bands, and flip them out over the top of the pin. Same thing over here. And then for the sides, it's just grabbing those bottom 2 and flipping them towards the outside. The hardest ones to do are these ones down here because there's nothing to put your hook in behind with the pin. So if you push back the top row that you have that you're working on, come in right above the 2 bands that you want to grab with your hook, and then slide your hook around to the back side. I can snag those bottom 2 that I want to flip over the top. So again, I'm pushing back the top 2 bands. I'm coming in below this top row here, right below that top row, put my hook in there, bring it around to the inside, and I'm hooked those 2 bottom bands on the bottom row, and then flip it over. It's not so bad on the first row, but as we do a few more rows, it gets a little tighter there. So like that. So you have all the stuff that's growing on the outside, and on the inside you should have 2 bands on every pin. So you want to push this down. And now what we're going to do is, starting right here on the bottom, it's 1 band still across, and then go up 1, skip the next space, and go up 2, skip the next space, do 1 on the end, come down, skip the next space, and then 2 more. So here, skip, 2, skip, 2, skip, 2, and skip. So then when we flip, we're only going to flip on each little section. We have the 3 pins. We're only going to flip the middle pin. So this one is the corner. On these 3 pins, it's this middle one right here, another corner, and then another middle one. So this one again, I'm going to push back that top row I'm working on, put my hook in that little spot, bring it around to the back, and then flip it over. So this one's done. We'll go up to the next one, flip the middle 2. This one's easier. And then this one. So it should look like this now. Push all that down. And we're going to put bands right on top of where we did before for this row again. So across the bottom, up 1, skip a space, up 2, skip a space across the top, then down 1, skip a space, and then down 2, like that. And again, you're going to flip in the same spots we just did. So the corners, middle, and the other corner. Again, push those top 2 back, get in there, come around to the back, grab those bottom 2 and pull them back over. Push all that down. Now we're going to do a row all the way around, single banded still. My chair is creaky. And my furnace just kicked in for the first time this year, so that means it's cold. Maybe that's why I'm sick. The temperature change got me. Something. So like that, row all the way around. So now we're going to flip. The corners or the middle pieces that we flipped before, there's just going to be 2 bands to go over there. So like this is 2 bands up here to flip over on the corner. But the next spot down, you're going to have 2 bands from the half row pieces that we did to go over, and then the bottom 2 bands from the row way before to go over. So each pin will be left with 2 bands on it. So again, this one has 4 bands to flip over. There's 2 bands, 4 bands. And this one has 4 bands, so I'm going to pull back my top 2. I don't even have to for the first 2. And then get in there. Grab those bottom 2 and flip those over. Two here, 4 on this next one, 4 on this one, and 2, and 4, and 4 on this corner. Push all those down. So again, all the growing stuff will be on the outside, and it's 2 bands on every pin on the inside. So we want to do 2 more rows all the way around single banded. I'm hoping that this video looks good when I'm done, because I've already stopped it like 4 times to cough. Not so good. So here's our first row all the way around, and we're going to flip the bottom 2 over the pins to the outside. Down, and then one more time around single banded. It always feels so weird using only 1 band. Like that. And again, flip the bottom 2 to the outside. Alright, then you want to push everything down as far as it will go. And really work on the corners, getting those down low. If you kind of pull it out and then push down, that helps. Because this is going to be on here while we work on the rest of it. It's not too bad though, because it's only 2 bands around the pen. So now we are ready to work on the ghost top down. So we're going to start in the center area here with a starburst, and now we start going back to double banding, so it is 2 bands. So from the center pin right here, we're going to go out to the 6 pins around. Doesn't really matter what order we do. Like that. Center pin is going to get a cap band. It's 2 bands wrapped around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Like that. Then you go in through the cap band, grab the top 2 bands wherever they are, pull them up through the center and back towards itself. You do that all the way around. Like that. Then we're going to do 2 rows all the way around our little starburst here. So here's our first row, still 2 bands. like that. And then when we flip, we're going to completely ignore this part that we have all the way around the outside. So you want to ignore that for quite a bit of the next portions here. So the bottom 2 bands that are on the pin are from that bottom part, so we don't want to touch those. It'll just be the middle 4 bands to flip over the top of the pin, leaving 4 bands up here, and then there'll be 2 bands down here that we're ignoring. And you'll know if you snag the bottom when it comes over the top, so to make sure make sure you don't snag them. Like that. Push it down. Do our second row all the way around. Like that. Flip the bottom, or flip the middle 4, I guess, is what you want to call it. Like that. So check to make sure that you didn't snag any of the bottom parts before you go on, so you don't have to backpedal too much if you find out you did later. So now what we want to do is we're going to expand everything. So starting over here on the right, I have to pick up the top 4 bands on this pin, bring them back a pin, and then I can grab the top 2 bands and bring them back to the pin that they were on. And this is so that this band that's on this pin comes around to the center pin right here. There's no crossing of the bands right here. There's just a band that comes over across them both, but these 2 bands, they don't cross. And you'll see, or you'll notice what I mean if you do that the other way. So this one up here, I can pick up the top 2 bands and just bring them up a pin. Again, there's no crossing. Now we're just going to go over to the other side. This top one, I have to pick up all 4 bands, bring them back a pin, and then bring the top 2 back down. And this one down here, on the bottom left, I can pick up the top 2, bring them down a pin. So now we've expanded the sides, so we have to do the center. For the center, you're just going to pick up the top 2 bands, and whatever side they're coming from, these are on the left side, I'm just going to stretch these down to that left pin. And then the last 2 that are on the pin, they'll go over to the right side. Like that. And do the same thing up at the top. Grab the top 2 bands. And pull them up. These are on the left. That means the others will go to the right. So now that we're expanded, on each of the pins there'll be 2 on the top all the way around. So we're going to do a row all the way around, 2 bands, my son was in his first high school band parade today in the marching band. He plays the tenor saxophone. He seems to enjoy it pretty well. I think he was really kind of excited about his uniform that he was wearing, much more official than the middle school, which were just your own black pants and their t-shirts, and I think he enjoyed it. So like that, all the way around. So then when we flip this row, you're only going to be flipping those middle 2 bands from that expanding that we did over the top on every pin. Because it's homecoming weekend And so we went and watched the parade, and there was, I think the kids got more candy in this parade than they have in like any parade combined. Because they were throwing out so much of it. And I suppose it's just because it's so close to Halloween and it's cheaper to find bags of Halloween candy to toss out, but like that. Again, check to make sure you didn't snag any of the bottom part. You want to push this down. Our next row is going to be our eye row. So I'm going to start with 2 bands down here at the bottom, then go up 2 bands, or 1 spot here. The next spot up is going to be an eye. Put my bands through my beads here. And the next spot is going to be 2 bands. Next spot is your other eye. And then it's 2 bands around the rest of it. My youngest 2 kids were in heaven, of course, trying to get all the candy, and I think I spent the entire parade, mostly besides when the band came through, because they weren't throwing candy, watching the kids and grabbing their hands and making sure they're not running out into the cars and the people walking, so that I think I missed like all the parade floats. So like that. So when we flip, you're only going to flip the middle 4 bands on every pin. And try not to pop off your bands. Like that. Stay. Like that. Push everything down. Next is our cheek row. So it's just the same as the eye row, only the cheeks will go in that same spot. So 2 bands in the first 2 spots, and then a cheek. Then 2 bands. And the other cheek. And then 2 bands around the rest. We asked the kiddos what they want to be for Halloween, and we're giving them ideas, but Grayson is stuck on a dinosaur like this. And again, flip that middle 4 bands. It's like, I want to be a dinosaur. I'm gonna be a dinosaur. I'm like, alright. It's just that he's been a dinosaur in one form or another for the past couple years. He's very much enjoys the dinosaur costumes. But usually, I guess, it's splurging a little bit on Halloween costumes and get the ones that are more fancy or whatever. So it's more like a stuffed animal. I think that's probably why. Then of course Violet, we're trying to tell her, what do you want to be for Halloween? And I'll tell you in a moment. So we have all that flipped, and now we want to put on our mouth. So 1 band, whatever color you want the mouth to be. I'm going to put it on my hook and double it. And then I'm going to turn my loom I'm going to go through the top 4 bands just to the right of the left eye, put my hook through, grab that double band, pull it up through and up over the top of the pin, and then pull it down. So now it's wrapped around the pin. Then I'm going to go in through the bands on the pin to the right, grab that mouth band again, pull it up through, up over the top of the pin, pull it down. So now it's wrapped around 2 pins, and then I'll flip it up over the top of the pins, like that. So our next row is going to be our arm row, so you want your arms. I'm going to loosen these up a little bit. Just moving stuff towards the center. So first, little arm, just grab the 2 bands that you pulled through at the end. That goes down here on the end. Then it's 2 bands up the front side. And then the other arm up here. Make sure you get both bands on the pin. Then 2 bands down the back side. So we asked Violet what she wants to be. We give her ideas like a princess or a witch or a butterfly, or kind of more of the girly. And I mean, hey, you can't blame me. I have 3 boys. I get a girl, so like that. And then again, you flip the bottom, the middle 4, I guess it is. Flip those over. So we're trying to get her to kind of pick a girlier thing, and she is also now dead set on being a dinosaur. So we have to find her a dinosaur costume as well. I just think it's so cute because both of those guys they're so much alike and want what the other one has. Want to be similar. I mean, they are 2 years apart, so they're not quite Irish twins, but sometimes I feel like they're twins. Maybe I'll find her a pink dinosaur or a purple dinosaur. We'll figure it out. I'll just have to make her one. Alright, so now we have the arms on. So now we're going to do 2 rows that are all the way around with the 2 bands. I'm actually going to pull up my center here a little bit. First. Okay, first row all the way around. My middle son wants to be a ninja, which I guess is better than previous times he's wanted to be a zombie, but he wants to be much more gruesome zombie than I want him to be at his age, because his friends were dressed that way. So we might go with a ninja. And then of course my oldest is like, Halloween is so not cool anymore. I'm like, yeah, but you still enjoy all the candy. Well, I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, that's what little brothers and sisters are for, to take their candy from. I'm like, no, not so much. Like that. Flip over the middle 4. I'm like, if you want candy this year, and you probably are, even though he's probably not necessarily too old to go trick-or-treating, he's just too grown-up looking to go trick-or-treating, because he does look like he's an adult right now with his height size especially. He's taller than some adults, so I can see that. So I said, well, you know what you get to do then? You get to stay home and hand out candy to the trick-or-treaters. It's like, oh, Mom. I'm like, you'll have backup. So push those down. Then we'll do our second row all the way around. I told him we could invite a friend over to help him pass out candy. So I think he's happy with that. We have to plan things well in advance in our house to make sure everything gets situated. Like I'm already planning on my trip I want to take in November to the Chi-Tag Fair in Chicago. I got to coordinate all that stuff early. Kids and work and just like that. Flip the middle 4. And my oldest wants to go hunting this year. So that'll be, it's right on the same weekend that I want to go to Chicago. So kind of gotta figure it out. Sounds like I might be taking the wee ones with me. But we'll see. This will be a long trip for them. Because it's not like a long trip and a short stay. Alright. So I tucked in the ends. And then I'll push all these bands down. And now we're ready to make it a little bit easier. And to do that, we need to flip over our little bottom of our sheet on our ghost. So what I do is I take my hook and I go in through those 2 bands that are on the pin for that little bottom part. Go in there and then just kind of push it down through. And then grabbing close to where the metal part is on your hook, grabbing it and just flipping it over the top of your pin. Then you just want to make sure you still have your 4 bands on your pin as you do that. Make sure that when you do this, because there isn't like a whole lot of pressure on them, but there is a little bit. Don't use your hook way back here and flip it, because I think that I've broken 2 hooks like right here in the center, so I think that there is kind of a connection issue with some of the hooks, so we don't want anything to break. So if you hang on onto the metal part and then flip it, you should be fine. So one of them I broke. I still don't know how it broke, because I wasn't really doing anything too extensive with it, and the other one I broke, I know that I probably was being too rough with it. So I'm just doing that on every one. Flipping it up over the top and squishing it towards the middle. Gets a little congested on the corners, so just gonna take your time there. And then for me on this side, it's easy for me just to flip over the bottom 2 over the top of the pin, and that seems to work well, except for those 2 that just got stuck. There you go. last one. I flipped over one too many. There we go. Like so. I can pull your ghost up. You can pull the little piece around up. So you should just be left with 4 bands on every pin all the way around. And you want to push those down. And now what we're going to do is on our 4 corner pins, we're going to reduce them. And we're going to do that by, if you take your hook, you might have to kind of separate them. You want to find the top 2 bands and the bottom 2 bands on every pin. You go through the top 2 bands, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up through, and bring them back, on this case, back a pin. And then these can come off. And then you'll flip over the bottom 2 on that pin, like that. So on this side, separate your bands out, go through the top 2, grab the bottom 2, pull them up through, bring them up a pin, these can come off, and then you'll flip the bottom 2 on this pin over. And we'll do the same thing on these 2 pins up here. In through the top 2, grab the bottom 2, pull them up, bring them back, these can come off, and then you flip the bottom 2 on this one. And over here. Through the top 2, grab the bottom 2, pull them up, bring them back, flip those off, and then flip the bottom 2. So now there still should be 4 bands on every pin. Try to see here, I only have 3 bands. Un momento. Yes. Like that. Push those down. And now we are done with the white. So we're going to switch to whatever color you want to use for the feet leg portion. And I am again going to use black, which might not be a good choice with a black background, so hold on one moment. Whoa, magic. My black turned to purple. Yay! And my feet, my toes turned to purple as well. So, alright, so what we want to do is on each of the 8 pins, we want to puff out what's on there. And we do that by taking 2 bands that you want to be the color of the leg portion, taking your hook, going through the 4 bands that are on the pin, pulling up your 2 leg bands, up through, put both ends on your hook, then pull the bands off the pin, and then the ones that are on your hook go back onto that pin. And we're going to do that for every pin around. So through, pull up, both ends on, pull off the pin, and then back on with what's on your hook. Movie magic, do you like that? With they changed from black to purple. Alright, so like this, what it should look like. So now what we're going to do is start with the legs, and to do that we're dividing basically our 8 pins in half. So the 4 pins on this side up here will be one leg, and the 4 pins on this side down here will be another leg. So what we need to do is we need to bring bands through the center of here. So if you take your hook and you have it so the point is up, and you stick it right next to the pin on one side, come out on the other, then you can take your 2 bands that you need for that row, put them onto your hook, pull them through. I usually take the ones that are my left hand here, put them on the pin over here, and try not to let go of them. Put them on the pin over on this side on the left, and just use my hook to pull them through to the right and put them onto the pin over here. So that's for the top, or the leg farther away. And then we need to do the same thing for the lower leg. So you need to go through here with the hook part up, snag 2 bands, pull them through. I'll put one end on the pin on the left, and pull through and onto the right, like that. So now we have the center bands through, and we just need to go around the outside of each leg. So 2 bands over here and around. And then 2 bands around the other side. Like that. So there's no bands that go across here, it's the ones that go inside. So then you flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Be careful in the center ones, because the ones that you pull through, sometimes they have a tendency to kind of drop over the bottom bands. Make sure that you're grabbing the bottom 4 and not that one we pulled through the center to flip over the top. Like that. One more here. Alright. So like that, all the way around. Push those down. Now we're going to do another row just like that. So pull your bands through the center again. Hook up when you do. So you can snag the bands, pull them through. On both sides. Not my... Not my day. Like that. Both bands are pulled through. So then go around the outside of each leg. Kitty has come to visit, I guess, again. Stop it. Can you hear her purr? She is so loud. So like that, around the outside of each leg. And again, flip the bottom 4. You have a cobweb on your whisker. What have you been doing? So like that. Push those down. Then our next row, we're going to add our little toes to our legs. So again, you want to pull bands through the middle, and you should be able to pull it up so you have quite a bit of room in here now to put your hook through. And grab your bands to pull them through. Get those through. Like that. So I got my bands pulled through. Our toes are going to go on the face side right in front. So it's just taking those bands, setting them there, and here. And then you go around the other 2 parts of each leg with the bands. So like that. Flip your bottom 4. Yeah, let's not play with that. So like that. And then we have one more row to do for the feet, and we're just going to go all the way around with the bands. Sorry. That's not a toy. Yeah, I've tried locking them out of here when I do things, but they just meow and meow outside the door. So I pulled them through, and then I'm going to go around each side again. Which is funny because a lot of times they'll meow and meow, and then I'll open the door and they'll run away. Like, yeah, we just want you to open the door. We don't actually want in there. So like that. Flip your bottom 4. Like that. So now we're going to take off each leg. So what I do is I'll push one leg all the way down like that. And on the other side, I'll just take my hook and start going around the circle. Although I should have started one over. Just going to keep your hook close to your loom as you pull your 2 bands through what's on your hook. Like that. Pull tight. And we'll just leave it like that. And we'll take off the other side. Pull 2 bands through. Close off. So what we want to do to fix him, because he looks a little funny right now, at least not as I intended. You want to smush the bottom of the feet flat, like that. And then I'm going to hide my tails. So you can hide your tails first and then smush it flat too. But either way works. So hide my tails on each side and smushing the bottom flat. So flat feet on the end. And then we have our wrapped bands. They're actually a row above the bottom. So what we want to do is you take your hook, go through those 4 bands that are right below our wrapped band, put it up on where those wrapped bands are, and pull it through or pull over the bottom 4 bands, however you want to do that. But basically we're popping the wrapped bands underneath of that bottom row on our feet. Let me try that again. Like everything I'm doing tonight is like that much more complicated for me. Like that. So the wrap bands come through, then you just kind of spread them out. Snagged one. So it kind of makes a little foot for them. Do that on the other side. There, look how easy I did that one. Like that. It's nice 2 little feet. And then you give them a little stretch, adjust. Because the double bands are tighter than the single bands, you probably need to go in and loosen up the double bands around the middle portion. Where we have the single bands attached to the double bands, you're going to want to loosen up the bands that are the double bands that connect to the single bands. So you get rid of any of the little gaps there. Kind of pull up your single bands, just kind of bringing them together. But you do that all the way around. And then at the bottom portion, there is a nice scalloped edge to the bottom of the sheet. But there are some places where it looks like they're all kind of pokey. It's because you need to tuck in or poke up the parts of the scallop in the middle. And when you do that all the way around, it seems to eliminate that little bands that kind of look like they're crazy. So like that. I had to fix up here where we increased, where we only had those 2 bands that we flipped over. Just kind of stretch those back out together. Go around and adjust that. And then for the arms, I gave them a little bend. So what I did was first I went up into the top little double band with my hook, put it in there, and if I put my thumb on it and I pull them kind of away from each other, the arm will come down by the side. And then I went in, I kind of look at the arm like this and I want it to bend. So I went in through the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth one down, and then I just bent the arm forward. So you had kind of a little elbow going on instead of being crazy arms. Like that. So cute. Fix the other arm here, and then I'll show you what I did with the basket. Aha. Alright, so he's got both his little arms pointed towards the front. And then all I did was just take a band. I actually used a clear band, but you probably can't see a clear band very well. Maybe you can. Let me see. We do have a black background. Clear. And I pulled the clear band kind of through the handle here on the basket. So it's kind of like the one that it's connected to, and then on this side there's a loop. I'll do it in that next one up. I'll just put my hook through that little V, pull a band through, like that. And then on the hand, I actually went through that first V that we pulled through that was double bands. It just kind of like is a wrist actually, but that way the little fingers are kind of free. And then I just grab the band I pulled through the basket, pull it through the double, put both ends on my hook, and make a slip knot. And I just kind of leave it loose until I get the position right of where I want things. And you attach the other hand the same way. And doing so, through the V, and so then you can adjust it. Like if you get it on there and like I'm not totally happy with how the positioning of this hand is over here, I'll just redo it. I'll move it down, hook it up again, and then you'll hide the tails from your connecting bands that you used. So that is my little ghost trick-or-treater. I hope that you think he's adorable. You think he's so cute. Trick or treat. He walks away. I love it. It's adorable. It's Halloweenish. It's not like the other ghosts out there. I think it's totally cute. So like that, little buddies. So cute. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Sorry if it got a little choppy anywhere with the editing, or if I missed any sniffles. I know I didn't miss any coughing, but I definitely appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully I'll have many more things for you soon. But if you make one of these adorable little guys, definitely tag me on your on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic. Show me on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. I think they're super adorable for Halloween, and hopefully this is what you guys are looking for as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you know when I come out with new things. I am really working hard to revamp how I put out my videos and when I put them out, so that it's a little bit not quite so congested on the weekends, and give you a little bit more enjoyment throughout the week instead of just on one day. But thanks you guys, I definitely appreciate it.